going to show you in the next couple of steps how to make a pergola swing. There's not a lot of pergola swings out there online or YouTube that I've seen, so I'm just going to show you the one that we built this summer. We're going to use some 6x6 posts for our outside part of the pergola, and we're also going to be running a 6x6 post across the top to ensure that it's good and sturdy. You're going to want to dig down at least 3-4 feet if you can. Highly recommend post mix, as many bags as you can fit down in there. You want a really good sturdy post, and you want your beams solid. Very, very important. Alright, you're going to want to make sure that you have a post leveler or something post level regardless. Again, I am not a carpenter, just to be clear. Just designed this thing and took a shot at it. So you want to make sure that your posts are level. Check them all around. It's key. You got to have one of these little tools. They're not very expensive. Pick them up at the hardware store for a couple of bucks. But you got to make sure the posts are level. Very, very important. Okay, so we got our posts in. We let them sit. In all honesty, we let them sit for a couple of days. You don't really need to. Once our posts were level, underneath here, if you want to have a look, you can see there's a 6x6 post beam running up across, sitting straight on top as well. We used some metal L brackets to screw in to ensure that they're secure. We went ahead and we cut out our fascia board with the design. You can use pretty much any design you want. And I only tagged those in with 4-inch screws. They're really not going to go anywhere. There's no weight or anything being put on them. They're just for aesthetic at this point. And I'm going to show you the next step that we did with the cutouts on top next. Okay, so basically to get my top pieces, all I did was I freehanded, somewhat freehanded, with a ruler, made sure where my center points were, and I came up with this design, something like that. Then you do one template, and then you go through and you cut every single template exactly the same. And what I did next, I'll show you how I got them to fit into place. Okay, so after I cut them out, I sanded them all down, made sure they were smooth, tapped them into place. You measure them out starting at your center point, so that way it's aesthetically, I guess it looks good aesthetically. That's the whole idea, that it matches up. I didn't use any nails or screws up there. I use this product here. It's just a LePage PL Premium, like a carpenter's glue. This stuff is like cement. I could have probably a hurricane here and those things are not coming off. They glue very, very well, and it saves trying to tack nail or even screw on an angle down into the beam up there, and it looks much neater. You can paint over this stuff, you can stain over this stuff, and you just smooth it over with your finger, but you do it immediately because this stuff is really sticky. But as you can see, I put them in place, and I went with 12, and you can go with as many as you want, but it's totally up to you. Okay, so basically, as you see, we've got our frame in and our posts. I went ahead and I dug down about 1 inch or 2 just so that my stone work that I've done here is level. It saves you if you have a ride-on mower, big property like we have here. We just want to make sure I'm just driving right by this and I'm not hooking any rocks or stone. You level it out, use a tamper. It's very important too, every stone you're leveling from stone to stone, because you're going to have some water settle to the center and you don't really want that. All I've used basically is a triple mix. A lot of people use sand and they use screening. I just used dirt just to make it more natural. And in the spring that may come back to haunt me, but there's lots of sprays out there for weeds and stuff that you can spray and keep this stuff out of your way. And so, as I said, like, you know, you make sure this is key, that it's level. And my next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to get to work building, or making a serious attempt at building the actual swing. It's a bit tricky. It's very important that you make sure that the bolts, leg bolts, the hook bolts, whatever it is that you're using, are rated for an appropriate weight. Some of the ones that I've picked up are geared for 660 pounds. If you're 660 pounds sitting on this pergola, you probably need to call Jenny Craig. But without the joking and all that set aside, it's key that you make sure that things are rated for the weight that you're going to do. Okay, so now that all my stonework's done, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make myself a swing to actually go underneath the pergola. It's kind of key that you try to make the swing appropriate to the size of the pergola, because I've seen online there's a lot of swings that are so tiny and the pergola is like really high. You kind of want it to be somewhat symmetrical, and so it looks kind of nice. So we'll see how it goes. I'll just show you what I've come up with so far. Okay, so this is what I've come up with so far. It's basically made it a 2x4. One of the tutorials I saw online, a guy made it out of 1x3. I don't know about you, but I don't feel too comfortable sitting on a 1x3 pine. Very thin, flimsy, not safe. So as you can see, I've used 2x4 pressure treated. I've ripped this center piece, and these are actually deck boards. They're already beveled off. I just rounded them off on the router table over here, just to get that nice, safe, smooth, round edge so that no one's getting poked. I just flipped the bench over just to give you an idea what it looks like underneath, and here's our supports. There's a bit of curve to them, just a nice gradual slope for you to sit on so it's more comfortable. One of the tutorials I saw online, that these boards right here were all butted up tight to each other. I used a tiny spacer so that we're all the same the whole way through, so that water can run through, because you know it's an outdoor swing. And I screwed everything together as I mentioned earlier. My arm rests right here. I just did a neat little design. I used a cupboard making kit that had a neat curve in it, and I just used that plastic piece just to butt up to here, and I cut it out with a jigsaw and sanded it off and smoothed it off. I'm not worried about this because I'm going to be staining the whole thing. Okay, so I have my two arms cut out and done. This is the one that's actually already been installed. I just pre-drilled my holes to screw the arm on. I've also added additional screws on the side here for extra support. If you're wondering why I did this is basically because chain over years, some people mount the chain so that way the chain comes up along here, or they just have it coming through a hole in the center of the wood. I don't really understand that, because I'm sure that the chain will wear on it over the years, so I came up with this neat little idea. I found this in the plumbing section. It's just a PCB type of cap type of thing, and I used the bit that cuts out for door handles, and I just measured up and I got the right size, and these are, as you can see, they're countersunk down in, and I glued those in, and then the chain will come up right through there, and it'll be a lot safer, and your wood should be protected. Okay, so what I'm going to end off with is I'm going to pre-drill a hole and add these puppies in here. There'll be 4 altogether, as I'm sure you're aware. I'm going to give it one final sanding all over just to smooth it up real quick. And then I'm going to add some of this stain right here. It's basically, it's an exterior stain. And I just added a tint to it. It's called Stony Path. Should give it an interesting look. Okay, so now I've finished the swing. I just got it all stained up here. I just added a stain like I showed you in the previous clip. I also added just these back pieces. I didn't like the stain, but I went ahead and I added a walnut tint to it as well. I've gone ahead and I've added on my chains here. I've secured them in really well. They're met here in the center. Easy access for height and to level it. I also went in up underneath here with my hook, and it should secure well. These little guys here are rated for 680 pounds each, so you should be safe with that, we hope. If not, it's a short fall to the ground. So here it is. This is before I do the big unveil and lower it. We're going to see how it looks, and if it's not level, the next clip you'll see this thing probably on fire. Okay, so there it is, all done. Here's the key right here. Dun, da, da. Hey, whoa, right there. It's level. Well, it's moving, but trust me, it's level. Anyways, just want to let you know a couple other things I'm just going to finish off with, but this project is pretty much done. In and around this side, over to this here little tree, which is a magnolia, another magnolia. I'm going to put in just a garden with some hostas just on either side, just for the look, and pretty much that's it. So, if you have any questions, drop me an email, drop me a comment. Please keep in mind I am not a carpenter. This is just something that I drew out that I thought would be really cool in our backyard, and I proved myself right. I'm very proud of this project. It's something that I'll value for a very long time, and we're going to get years of enjoyment out of. I hope you enjoyed my first shot at somewhat of a tutorial here. If you have any questions, again, leave me a comment, and hopefully I'll get back to you. Hey, Rigel. See you later.